Hello everyone! In the previous video, we talked about Gummigoo. We saw that Gummigoo is different from the other NPCs in Glitch Productions' Amazing Digital Circus. This jelly crocodile turned out to be a very interesting character in the second episode of Candy Carrier Chaos. Many Digital Circus fans liked him and loved Gummigoo. But unfortunately, at the end of the second series, his fate ended tragically. And we have new questions. Why did Pomni ask Gummigoo to be her friend? Why did Pomni try to get Gummigoo into the circus? Will we ever see Gummigoo again? And if we see Gummigoo again, will he remember the talk with Pomni? And today, we will try to give answers to two of them. Let's take a close look together. Click subscribe to my channel, grab some marmalade and sit back and make yourself comfortable. And we're gonna keep going. But before we find the answer to the question, will we see more of Gummigoo? Let's recap together what happened to Gummigoo. After Gummigoo and Pomni fell under the map and found themselves in the developer's room where they saw 3D models of the NPCs that were involved in Cain's adventure called Candy Carrier Chaos. Among the models, Gummigoo saw his own 3D model. After that, Gummigoo had a program glitch because an NPC shouldn't see his 3D model. But if it was a standard NPC, it would probably freeze or glitch. But since according to Cain, it was the highest level NPC with 57 times more immersion. Gummigoo didn't freeze, but started its self-development. He analyzed the situation. At this point, Pomni started talking to Gummigoo. She wanted to humanly pity and calm Gummigoo down, and even offered to become a friend and go to the circus tent. Gummigoo used his high artificial intelligence and accepted Pomni's offer. Gummigoo told Pomni that he was willing to give it a try, and Pomni's words, "Maybe you could be somebody real there," gave him hope and confidence. After this talk, the question arises, could Gummigoo become a friend to Pomni? I think that would have been a very interesting plot twist. If in the further events of the Digital Circus, Pomni had a friend from the highest level NPCs by his side, then further events could develop according to a fantastic scenario. Their joint forces and capabilities would have increased many multiples. Let's take a look at Pomni and Gummigoo's first reaction when they passed by Princess Lulilalu. Pomni responded to the princess's call to execute that bandit fella with, "That's what we're doing," and showed a positive hand gesture. Gummigoo immediately understood and followed Pomni's lead with the same gesture. In this scene, we see a complete rapport between Pomni and Gummigoo. Given the events that happened to Gummigoo and Pomni while they were under the map, we can safely assume that Gummigoo could have become a loyal friend to Pomni. But all those romantic dreams were broken by Cain. We saw Cain destroy Gummigoo in one fell swoop. For Pomni, it was a tragedy. She hadn't made friends with any of the characters in the Digital Circus during her 2-day stay. But here she found a friend among the NPCs, and in an instant, the friend was destroyed. Very tragic. But why did Cain do this? What would happen from one NPC from another map getting into the circus tent? Why wouldn't a character make a friend out of an NPC they liked? What's the problem with keeping one NPC? There is an explanation for this. We have already realized that Cain is the host of the entire Digital Circus program. But he is, at the same time, a part of this program, a part of this whole system. And it is his function not only to be the host, but also to make sure that the circus is in order and that the whole system is stable. We've seen Cain tell Pomni that, "I can keep my hundreds of all-seeing eyes on you." We've seen Cain send abstracted characters to the cellar. Cain shouldn't let the system fail. And Gummigoo, after he got under the map and didn't freeze, was already a system failure. In conversation, Pomni was able to change Gummigoo's mind to do something other than what was programmed for him in Cain's adventure. Pomni actually reprogrammed the NPC, and after that, Gummigoo followed her. And of course, moving an NPC named Gummigoo from one location to another is also a system glitch. As a result, Cain had to destroy Gummigoo to prevent an even bigger glitch. Remember how in the scene with Gummigoo, Cain said that if you leave the NPC behind, who knows what could happen? But what happened to Gummigoo? Did he disappear forever? We'll never see him again? I think many fans would like to see him again, but we saw him blown to dust. Pixels, to be exact. But let's get the facts together. When Ragatha was calming Pomni down at the end of the episode, she said, "You know, he might be back in a future adventure. I know Cain sometimes likes to reuse NPCs." To confirm this a bit earlier, when asked by Ragatha, Max said, "It's not like the boss to vanish with a clown. Very unusual." This means that the jelly crocodiles had previously filled some sort of role as NPCs in Cain's adventures. And the main proof is the 3D models of the NPCs in the developer's room. This means that no matter what happens to any of the NPCs, they can always be recreated again. So we conclude that it is quite likely that we will see Gummigoo again someday. And if we remember that nothing happens by chance in the Amazing Digital Circus, the probability of Gummigoo reappearing certainly becomes higher. And it is quite possible that in one of the next episodes, we will see our favorite Gummigoo again. But another question remains. Will Gummigoo remember what happened to him in this episode? Will he remember the talk with Pomni and remember how he got to the circus tent? We saw Max say to Ragatha's question, "It's not like the boss to vanish with a clown. Very unusual." This means that Max and Chad remember meeting the digital circus characters from earlier in some other Cain adventures. But Max and Chad weren't destroyed after the adventure. They were just given new roles for new adventures. And Gummigoo was completely destroyed by Cain. He shattered into pixels, and now he's being rebuilt from a pre-made 3D model. And quite possibly, Gummigoo will remember nothing at all. Unfortunately, that's true. I can assume that if Pomni ever meets Gummigoo again, she will have to recount everything that happened to them in this series. But Gummigoo won't remember anything. That's going to be really sad. But I hope that if that happens, Pomni will find the right words, she will find a way, and she will be friends with Gummigoo again. We have two more unanswered questions. Why did Pomni ask Gummigoo to be her friend? Why did Pomni try to get Gummigoo into the circus? But I'll tell you about that in my other videos. What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments. Watch my channel. As always, it will be interesting and mind-blowing. Don't forget to click subscribe to the channel and put a like. And wait for a new review on my channel. There will be a lot more interesting. Take care, and always come back to your friends.